Alright, we're talking about medic primaries. Alright, yeah, so Saraj guy shit, yeah, it's just bad, and crossbow, best weapon. Okay, bye. But the main question here is, what is the best doctor primary? Or is there even one? And which one should I use? Well, the smart answer would be they're all situational, but there are two that are better than the other two, while one of them being slightly more meh. But here I will cover the 4 weapons primaries. So we're going to be talking about primaries. We got stock syringe gun, we got the Crusader's crossbow, we got the Dairy Dowser, or what something, and the Overdrive. These are 4, well, 2 kinds of weapons, with 3 of them being different variants of each other. So I'll cover them one by one and talk about if you should use this and or where you would use this. So TF2's Metagun is meant to be a weak weapon, a last resort. In TC2, it actually kind of works as a primary. It's a fucking long range, no damage fall off piece of shit miniature sniper, which makes it actually pretty strong, and alongside its fast firing rate, it's actually a really strong mid-range weapon. Now as a far range weapon, I guess it's possible, because I'm pretty sure there's no damage fall off, but then again, it's harder to hit. So, you know, I'd call it a mid-range weapon. Close range too, if you can hit all your shots, it just shreds. You see, the weapons, or at least the primaries, are not meant to kill people and go on like killing sprees. They're meant as a backup, for either when you want to support your team, because they're not cutting it with the damage or something, which really isn't smart, or to, you know, when you're getting chased, or you want to finish off a kill, something like that. But this weapon allows you to actually play Battle Medic in a decent way. It's still not good. Like, even if it can do like 100 damage and shred light classes up close, heavier classes are gonna take a few more hits than that. So, as a semi-auto weapon, it's pretty good. But then again, it is technically a secondary for the Doctor because this game designed it so that metiguns are supposed to be what you're mostly using it. But this is a really great finisher, a great way to counter light classes, and just overall, it just does too much damage. Yeah. The Dairy Dowser, the slower shooting one, the 20% slower fire rate, but instead it applies mad milk to enemies that you hit. Now this is an interesting one. Something tells me that this is a better version of the Blutsauger. I don't know what to call it. It seems like a version where instead of losing health, it just shoots slower, which, I mean, cool. But this slower shooting speed really kinda stops you from killing people? This is honestly much more tilted towards oh, this is the primary I want to use as support when playing with team, not as self-defense. Now, it doesn't mean it's usable, it's still decent, but practically almost most of the other syringe guns are better for self-defense, and this weapon just kinda stands there with this slower fire rate, which, yeah, damage penalty versus slower fire rate. I would take damage penalty, honestly, because, I don't know, I guess there's less shots to be fired. But then again, this weapon applies mad milk. Now that's the upside that people would use the weapon for. Like, honestly, oh, yeah, it's the Blutsauger, and then go running around being invisible. No, that's not possible. People are going to out-damage you no matter how hard you try. Like, you can't just go running into full teams as Doctor alone with your primary out. You're not gonna win if there's like 5 people. Trust me. Most other classes might be able to, but as Doctor, you cannot. So the way you would do this is to grab your trusty teammates, push them in the front lines, and then start shooting the enemies and go back to pocketing. This is a great way to apply even just a little bit of extra healing to your teammates when they're taking more concentrated fire. But then again, this weapon's... I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like this weapon, but for people who are in really good teams or like playing support, then this is the weapon for you. Alright, Overdrive. So the more Uber you have, the faster you can run when you have this weapon out. And 20% less damage. Now this is an interesting one. You run faster. When does this come into play? Like, you can run to your teammates and help them or run away? For the running to your teammates thing, I guess, but if you're under 50%, you're gonna be fairly slow. It's not gonna make too much of a difference. Maybe by like a few seconds, and maybe like save those like, what, 1 out of 20 interactions. On the other hand, running away, at the point that you're running away, you know, your team has their ass rolled and you're alone fending for your life, and actually, unless you're at like 100%, good luck getting away, because, you know, if a scout's chasing you, you're not gonna get away. As well as the fact that if you're at 100% Uber, instead of running around helping teammates everywhere, you would use the Uber, because Ubers are strong, and, you know, unless there's nowhere to use it, might as well. So, and also 20% damage penalty. I mean, it's still usable, it's still defendable, and you can finish off weaker enemies. But sometimes, in those select situations, you're gonna wish you had stock syringe gun, because that 20% damage penalty is quite big, and oh boy is it painful. Sometimes I do wonder though if the penalty is there, because sometimes this weapon just feels kind of like the syringe gun. But again, ever so slightly weaker, maybe? And the fact that, well, it doesn't sound like an SMG of some sort. And finally, the fourth weapon of the Doctor's arsenal, for primaries at least, the Crossbow. Now the Crossbow, it's an interesting one. Like, it's the only different one. It's the single fire, high power, and assumably ranged weapon for the Doctor. Now close range, it's not bad, but like what, 30 damage around? So unless you're doing a 1-2 combo with the melee or something, really you wouldn't use this for offensive or defensive purposes. Now the difference about this weapon, number one, the farther away you hit someone from, the more damage you do, max being like around 75, which is pretty big. Two-shot a lot of light classes. As well as if you hit your teammates with the bolt, it actually heals them for a bit. So it's actually pretty useful to, you know, when your teammate's taking a lot of fire, if your teammate can live long enough, then you can, you know, shoot a crossbow in between to do a lot of healing at once, and then continue to pocketing them with the new amount of health that they have. Now, I'm not gonna mention laggy projectiles, but the amount of ammo. Now, some people, or a lot of people actually, may reserve it to just a backup or a, you know, a weapon to protect yourself, spy check with, but I like to use it sometimes to actually help heal people, you know, switching between the Metagun and the Crossbow. And then the 9 ammo I get slapped in the face with. Now, I get it. Ammo packs are everywhere, and as long as your teammate or you are getting kills, you're gonna have constant ammo. But what if you're in no situation to do that? Like, you're at really low health, your teammate needs concentrated healing so you can't leave him, and your teammate can't aim. And if you try and, say, jump out to get ammo, you're gonna get bombarded by, say, a sentry gun or something. Now, these situations may not be, like, abundant. However, are those select few situations that if you might run out of ammo, and when you do, a lot of the time, it's gonna screw you over. Long shot. And finally, in conclusion, what Doctor Primary should I use? Honestly, your choice. Again, these are all situational. For stock medigun, consistent, powerful damage, the crossbow for both healing and offense, long range at the same time, the Mad Milk for a supportive role with extra healing when your team is winning. Because if your team is losing, then you don't want to be shooting at your enemies and you should be pocketing because you don't have the chance to. And you can't jump out and go shoot them, or you could get sniped or something. I don't know. It's a decent weapon. But yeah, mainly meant for when you're winning. And then it's just making it easier to kill the enemies. And then Overdrive, you know, alongside with a quick fix, you might be more faster more of the time. But then again, use Uber constantly, so I don't know, go help your teammates. But overall, there is no best Doctor primary weapon. Now there is the worst, objectively, the Overdrive. The Overdrive is super situational and you barely see it come up. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you, but that speed boost really doesn't help you escape or really help you catch teammates. I have yet to come across a situation like that. Now, I personally prefer the crossbow, but after working on this video, my views may have changed on the stock, but that's about it. I still don't like the Mad Milk, and I probably still don't think Overdrive is that good. But yeah, so feel free to use any weapon you like that fits your playstyle. I don't know if I'd prefer using the crossbow with the quick fix or the rejunctionator or whatever it's called in TC2. And hey, your choice. I mean, this isn't about which metiguns or melees you should use. But we all know that Ubersaw is like the most common one and obviously the best one. So, but yeah, so that's all the Doctor Primaries and talking about them. Thank you for watching. This was North Studios, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.